Moving on now, Israeli forces raided a refugee camp in the West Bank city of Jenin on Tuesday, killing at least 6 Palestinian gunmen. Those killed included a Hamas gunman suspected of fatally shooting 2 Israelis near the village of Huwara. Witnesses said that fighting broke out after residents saw Israeli soldiers getting out of a furniture truck near a house on a hill overlooking the center of the sprawling camp. Now, the fighters immediately opened fire in the ensuing gun battle. Israeli forces surrounded a house where the suspected gunman had barricaded himself with other fighters. A statement from the Israeli military said that the soldiers used shoulder-fired missiles against the building. The Palestinian Health Ministry stated 6 Palestinians were killed and at least 16 others injured. 1 member of the Israeli police force was wounded, 3 lightly hurt here. The Israeli military identified one of the gunmen as Abdel Fattah Karusha, a member of the Islamist group Hamas. As per the military, his 2 sons had been arrested in a raid at the same time in the city of Nablus. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu praised those involved in the Jenin raid.
IDF soldiers, the Shin Bet and Israel's National Counter-Terror Unit eliminated today the heinous terrorist who murdered in cold blood the 2 beautiful brothers Hillel and Yagil Yaniv.
Jenin is one of the major centers of escalating tensions in the West Bank. Jenin has been raided repeatedly by Israeli forces during months of violence. In a statement, Hamas urged fighters to escalate the resistance. The violence has caused increasing fears of a repeat of the Intifadas or the uprisings of 1980s and early 2000s. According to statements by Hamas and Islamic Jihad, all those killed were gunmen from Hamas, Islamic Jihad and the Fatah. Hamas runs the blockaded Gaza Strip, but it also has fighters in the West Bank. Hamas said that Karusha was a member and that he carried out the Huwara double killing. The shooting of the 2 Israeli brothers triggered a revenge attack by Jewish settlers who killed a Palestinian man and torched houses and cars. The rampage triggered worldwide outrage. Israel's ultra-nationalist finance minister Smotrich said that Huwara should be razed. Smotrich was responsible for aspects of the West Bank administration, later offered a partial retraction. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken overnight reiterated calls for both sides to de-escalate tensions. The violence is also expected to be raised by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin this week when he visits Israel. There has been no sign of any let-up in the violence ahead of the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan and the Jewish Passover festival. For more on this, we're now being joined by our correspondent Jody Cohen live from Ra'anana. Thank you so much for joining us, Jody. What can you tell us about the latest following the Israeli raid in Jenin? Is the cycle of violence expected to continue?
Hi, Hem. Yes, so this is almost a repeat of a discussion that we had just last week. And in the latest on Wednesday morning, sirens were sounded in southern Israel following rockets fired from Gaza. These fell short and no one was hurt. And Israeli security forces are said to be on high alert. Now, this comes in response to Israel Defense Forces operation in the northern West Bank. Israel says it was targeting Hamas terrorists who are planning attacks on Israeli civilians and those involved in the shooting attack in the Palestinian village of Huwara last week, in which 2 Israeli brothers were killed. Now, a group called the Jenin Brigade said that they shot and threw explosives at the Israeli soldiers, and a gunfire battle followed in which 6 Palestinian gunmen were killed, including the Huwara shooter. Now, a spokesperson for the Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas, has called this an all-out war and said that it's derailing recent efforts to restore calm. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that the raid was important and it is an important signal that Israel will go after whoever kills Israelis.
Right. Now, just for more clarity here, Jody, what's the root cause of this and where do you see this heading next with U.S. Defense Secretary due to arrive in Israel?
So the Palestinians would say that the root cause of this is the occupation. Israel would say that this is happening in areas in the West Bank that is under Palestinian Authority autonomy, and that if the PA isn't controlling terror activities, then Israel needs to in order to protect its citizens. Now, as you said, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is arriving in Israel. That follows meetings he's had with King Abdullah in Jordan, and also meetings that have been going on between the Israeli Strategic Affairs Minister and National Security Advisor and the U.S. counterparts in Washington. Now, in those meetings, they discussed the situation in the West Bank and the need for all parties to take steps to restore calm and to de-escalate. That also follows a meeting, a high-profile meeting between the US-Israel Strategic Consultative Group. Now, they issued a joint statement after the meeting saying that they talked about Iran's nuclear program, joint Israeli-US military exercises, Israeli political integration in West Asia through the Abraham Accords Negev Forum, and interestingly, through the I2U2 Forum involving India as well, and talked about efforts to deepen Israel's security. So all of these discussions concerning de-escalating the tensions are important in the lead up to Ramadan, which starts in 2 weeks. And it's a time when we've seen rioting on the Temple Mount Al-Aqsa compound over the past couple of years. And it remains to be seen if these talks to try and de-escalate tensions will be able to prevent violence this year.
Right, Jody, thank you so much for bringing us all the updates on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.